G'day Bomber fans. Well, the VFL game wrapped up yesterday afternoon, Essendon versus GWS, a silly time slot, Friday afternoon, but we're going to move on from that. We're going to talk about the AFL performances from that game. There were just 7 in the VFL, one of which in my eyes is surely a lock to come back into the team next week. The Bombers lost again in the Rezzies. It was a great game of footy. In the end, the Giants just held onto their legs late and the Bombers didn't. The end margin was 21 points. So yeah, let's talk AFL listed players, and also, just to make this video worth watching, so it's not 2 minutes long, at the end I'm also going to tell you guys about the Vic Metro Under-16s game that took place yesterday morning. We had 3 club-linked players in it, including Koby Bewick, who you guys all know. All 3 were magnificent. Metro smashed SA in that game, but the Bombers were the real winners. So, yeah, let's talk VFL and Under-16s footy. Kayle Gerreyn, so he was doing a lot more rucking this week, and that is because we don't really have any proper VFL rucks at the moment. So it was him and Lockie Monteith, both too young to be the main rucks. They were up against Nick Madden for a lot of the game, who's got a few more pre-seasons under the belt. He was all over them. Madden, he had 26 touches and 2 goals and a billion hit-outs, I reckon. And to be fair, Gerreyn was mostly up against Logan Smith, I felt, when he was rucking, who's an absolute brute. That contest was a tiny bit more even, but it was still Smith who took the chocolates. When he was up forward, Gerreyn, he wasn't able to find real separation from the GWS defenders in dangerous areas. It was a pretty quiet game with some nice moments of involvement, like there were some nice ruck contests that he won out himself on his own boot, some nice presentation for marks around the ground, but yeah, just the 8 touches, 8 hit-outs, didn't hit the scoreboard, 2 clearances. I've seen a few people call for him to play. I think everyone is getting a little bit too trigger happy on debut watch, because of the remaining debutants, this is probably the furthest away. Nothing against him. He's a 19-year-old key forward project player. They take time. He's clearly taking the time, but has shown plenty this year. So I think he's just maybe running out of steam a bit with all the injuries around him and the added responsibility. But yeah, I'm keen to see him next week when Vigo's back, so he can play on, in a role with less responsibility on players that aren't much more advanced than him. Jye Menzie was really good again. He has had back-to-back games where he's, amongst the best. I'd say of the AFL listed players, he was probably our second best again, same as last week. He'd be feeling stiff. He ended the game with 14 touches, 2 goals, 5 tackles. He's doing everything you want him to be doing at this level. I honestly feel bad. He's played good footy this year at both levels. It's not like with Davey, who hasn't been able to crack into the team, but is playing well now. Menzie's kicked a bag of 4 in the AFL, gets dropped, has a bit of time in the VFL, and now is really getting to work. We gave him votes in the AFL, and now he's tearing up in the reserves level, but can't get back in the team. And it's tough, because I want to see more of Oscar Smart. I think, those two are the only ones who can replace each other now. But I don't see how Menzie comes in for Gresham or someone, such different players. But I think we ideally see another week or 2 of Smart. And if Menzie keeps playing like this while we see more of Smart, we get him, we get him in to see if there's something that we can work with. Because I think he deserves another chance at AFL level. The way he's playing now, he should be playing at AFL level, I think, given what we have at our disposal at the top flight. Alwyn Davey Jnr, he is in really good form. He is now playing as a rebounding defender. He was really good last week, the first time he played full minutes there. He had close to 20 touches. This week he had less of the ball, just the 14, but I'd honestly say he may be more of an impact with the eye test. Some of his work going forward was great. The ground really did open up in this game. It was free-flowing, and Davey was brave enough to trust his foot skills and go through the middle of the ground on a few occasions, and that helped us score a fair bit, from defence to offence. Down back, I thought there were a few iffy moments defensively, but that was kind of the nature of the game. I thought he did much more good than bad for the team. This is a positional move that should have happened a long time ago. But even with it, does Davey come into the team for any current defenders? I don't think so, unless there's injuries. But if he keeps playing like this, finding more of the footy, doing really good things with it, it can only increase his chances. Rhys Unwin is still learning his craft in a new role. He was on the wing a bit, forward a bit. I'd love to see him matched up alongside an AFL veteran in the VFL, kind of like what happened with Nguyen last week. He was on Luke Bruce, and I think that was a massive learning experience, even though he actually probably beat him in that. But I think it would be, valuable for Unwin to just, be beaten properly for a day, to have that learning day. Because right now, he's kind of stuck in this little period of being in a new role and not quite getting it. And to be fair, who does he have in the VFL to fall back on? We have no real leadership. I think our oldest player in this game might have been Saad El-Hawli, I think, of the AFL listed players, of course. But yeah, because of the injuries and everything. So yeah, that makes it tough for a young kid to really consistently find himself in the game and know where he should be going and what he should be doing. So 9 touches, another pretty quiet game. Speaking of Saad El-Hawli, he was brilliant. He was the best of the AFL listed players by a long way. And yeah, I just think he needs to come back in the AFL side. Lyle had a good run of games under the belt now, but I think we got to see this guy back on the wing. He just looks more ready, and honestly, he's probably just a bit too good to be playing VFL. He's playing really good wing footy, 17 touches, 3 goals, 3 really big goals too, all of them exciting in some way. The best of the lot was a really nice team goal that resulted in a running snap from Saad about 30 or 40 out from goal. Yeah, really to sum it up, this guy, just get him back in the team. He's had 3 VFL games since that injury. He is ready to go. Jayden Nguyen, another really promising game. He is being utilised as a lockdown defender, so don't go looking at his stats too much week to week. I can't really recall who his direct opponent was for much of this game. It wasn't like last week where he was on Luke Bruce a lot. It might have been Phoenix Gothard at one stage, I saw a bit. But honestly, I didn't get that and probably should have. But yeah, at least when I saw him around the footy, it was usually positive. His defensive craft is really strong. He doesn't give up. I talked about that Saad El-Hawli snap, the team goal. That came from a smother in the goal square by Nguyen. A GWS player marked it in the goal square, played on, and Nguyen didn't give up on the chase, smothered the footy, which should have been an easy goal, and it resulted in an Essendon goal down the other end. And look, the guy makes mistakes. He probably had the biggest blunder of the game in D50. He played on, took a bounce after 3 steps and got caught holding the ball. It was shocking. It was really bad. But it's his intent and will to defend and just do what's best for the team that I love. Like, he genuinely is someone that I could see playing footy if he improves aspects of his game and builds maybe a tiny bit more size. I don't think he's ready this year, but of the 3 yet to debut, Gerreyn, Unwin and Nguyen, I would say he is probably the most ready for his role. And although it is a big step up being a lockdown defender in the AFL compared to the VFL, and he would have to leapfrog Andy McGrath, who is one of the better lockdown defenders in the league, so I don't think he plays this year, but I'm really excited about his development. I'm really keen to see him play next year. I think another preseason under the belt. I don't know. I love the way he goes about it. He's one of my favourite players to watch at VFL level. Day-Wicks. So this guy was under a little bit of an injury cloud last week. He was deemed fit to play after coming off the ground and being iced. I think it was his ankle, someone said. I don't know. I heard everything. It might have been a knock. I don't have that information. I'm sorry. But what I saw was someone out there who looked off it. You know, I just did not see this guy plant himself in the match at all. He had 6 disposals for the first 3 quarters, and then in the 4th, he went off with another potential injury concern. I think it's a hamstring this time. So yeah, right now, I just think it's a long season catching up with a rookie-listed player. We don't know the extent of this injury. I think no matter what, he probably does need a rest. Like, he just looks like he's struggling out there. And now, I'm honestly more excited to talk about this. So on a different note, we've got the under-16s from yesterday's game. Vic Metro smashed SA, and we had 3 linked players to the club for the 2027 draft. Keep in mind when I'm talking about these guys, anything can happen in the next 2 years. I'm just going to be talking about this specific game that they played. We're going to start with Koby Bewick, who we all know. He's the son of Darren Bewick. He's starting to play out of defence a little bit. So he's a pure midfielder, but he's getting a few different roles. So out of defence, he's kind of that Harry Sheasel, Nick Dacos role when they were younger, kind of entering the competition, being free off the halfback flank, doing what they want. I say Dacos as well, by the way. I think these two play in really similar ways, and I'm not comparing their quality. Don't think I'm, saying he's the next Dacos. I don't think he is. But the way they play, their style, the way they move and kick the footy, like Bewick is a lovely user of the footy, and he is so clever with it. He is so poised. He finished this game as one of the best. 28 disposals, 5 inside 50s, 6 rebound 50s, some lovely running work through the middle of the ground. There were times where he did struggle a bit to do the run up and back. So he is someone that probably, if he is going to play that role, needs to learn to go both ways. I saw a few times him kind of with those T-Rex arms that you see him run with, struggling to get back the other way. So yeah, I thought his work with the footy was fantastic as usual. Some lovely kicking throughout the game. But yeah, his defensive work probably needs, there's a bit to work on. And luckily he's 16. Like, there's so much time for him to work on that. But yeah, really strong game. He's becoming a really hot prospect for that 2027 draft. Tevita Rodan, the son of David Rodan, who played for Port Adelaide. He is linked to Port Adelaide as well, by the way, under father-son rules. And he is also linked to Essendon. Not now. This is where it gets a bit iffy. So, just to like explain a little bit, Tevita is Pacific Islander heritage. Those countries, those nations don't currently fall under NGA rules. The AFL is looking to enforce that and bring those countries, Fiji, Samoa, Papua New Guinea, all that, into the NGA as well, because obviously they want more people playing footy. Those countries, you know, they have people like Tevita playing footy. So by 2027, it's entirely possible that this change is made and that Tevita falls under our NGA. That's why I'm going to keep talking about him. But for this game specifically, he was great. He was probably our second best player on the field. Vic Metro's second best player on the field. He was the best of our NGA kids. He was playing full-time midfield minutes, which I hadn't seen yet. He's mostly in defence a lot of the time when I'd seen him, but he was great in the midfield. It honestly took me back a bit seeing him play at that level, because I know he's promising. I've seen a fair bit of him. I didn't know he was completely, you know, game-breaking promising like he was. And he was magnificent. 30 touches, 6 clearances, 6 inside 50s, 3 tackles, a really nice goal. He was fantastic. He would have been best on ground if it wasn't for Baxter Shrook. He was so tough at the contest. He just wanted to win the footy. Really good stuff from young Tevita. And Moustafa Darwish, this is probably the one that I want to be putting on the map more, because everyone knows about Tevita and Koby. Not many people know much about Moustafa Darwish, and part of that is I didn't even know much about him either. I was actually told by someone at the club to keep an eye on him. I knew of him but didn't know much about his game. And even if I wasn't actively keeping an eye on him, like it'd be tough not to notice him from this game. He ended up with 27 touches, 4 rebound 50s, 6 tackles. He is looking like a potential major bonus for 2027 if things go to plan. Like obviously lots can happen in the next 2 years, but if this performance is anything to go by, it's good. He was really good. He was playing in defence, both using the footy going forward a lot, but also having strong defensive efforts. I think that's something that he has in that role that Koby Bewick doesn't have, and that's probably because Koby's a more rounded player in general. But yeah, Moustafa, really rounded defensive game. He was great, and like the other two, he was among the Vic Metro's best in the win. But that is that. Ending on a bit of a different note there. Thought I'd chuck in the young guys to have more to think about than just the 7 VFL players who played. Cheers for watching, everyone. Make sure you like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and as always, go Bombers.